But let me ask you a couple of difficult questions, if you will. It's not going to come as any surprise to you, but we have a story out about the inequities in delivering vaccine. If you're on the Upper East Side, you got a great chance. If you're in Harlem, not so much. This you know. But in our reporting, we found many people in communities of color or heavily immigrant communities where residents or council members or assembly members, people who would have deep ties in the community, say the city is invisible despite your efforts. They don't see anything in multi-languages. They're not seeing leafleting. They're not seeing these canvassers that you're talking about. And they all point to this invisibility as part of the problem in getting more participation in these neighborhoods. What do you say to them?
I always listen, Henry. I'll say something. I'll turn to Dr. Choksi as well. I always listen to critiques, and if people say we're not seeing enough outreach, then we have to do more outreach. I'm not even going to contest. I'm not going to tell someone that they saw, they saw something they didn't see, right? But I would say to you, the numbers are speaking for themselves. Over 2.6 million vaccinations as of today. The fact is we do see steady progress in reducing inequity. We are seeing that all over the city. The places where we are setting up additional sites, focusing on communities of color and immigrant communities, those appointments are being filled nonstop. There's no lack of people who want the appointments. They're filling up, and it's creating more equity. Certainly, the door-to-door efforts have helped immensely. Signing up people, particularly seniors, right there at their door. I've been to the site, so I've seen too with my own eyes. I saw what I saw in Red Hook, at Red Hook houses. I saw what I saw at Nostrand houses in southern Brooklyn. I saw what I saw at Co-op City. It's obviously happening. But if we need to do more outreach, we simply will, in as many languages as it takes. Go ahead, Dr. Choksi.
Thank you, sir. And I'll start just with a brief recap of the outreach efforts that we have done. Acknowledging that much work remains, and we remain so committed to our equity goals in the vaccination campaign. But on any given day, we have about 300 canvassers out doing door knocking and getting the word out about vaccination. We've had over 1,250 events since the beginning of our Vaccine for All campaign, town halls, small gatherings with neighborhood organizations and with elected officials as well. We've now knocked on thousands of doors thus far. We've passed out hundreds of thousands of leaflets, really targeting both our task force neighborhoods as well as seniors. And we've made millions of phone calls, to people also targeting those same demographics. Particularly with seniors, as the mayor has mentioned, we've really focused on our NYCHA houses, as well as the naturally occurring retirement communities in partnership with the Department for the Aging. So these are some of the efforts that are underway. We aim for this to continue to grow, particularly as supply increases, because we want to reach into every corner, every neighborhood, because we believe so urgently that getting people vaccinated will save lives.
Amen. Go ahead, Henry.
I don't want to dwell on this too much, but the numbers do speak for themselves. You've got a 41% rate of participation on the Upper East Side. It's about 11% in Central Harlem. So I don't doubt the sincerity and the vigor with which you are approaching this thing, but as of March 9th, those are the numbers, and it would appear from those numbers that even more has to be done, as you say. But let me go on to another question about the issue of the day.
Henry, let me hold you up a second.
Go ahead.
I know your comment was sincere, and I'm going to certainly recognize your next question, but I just have to say, really respecting, you are very thorough and concerned, but I'm going to say, please be objective. There is a intensive difference in many communities on, at this point, still trust levels and hesitancy levels. I think we've made real progress, but no one's saying that gap has been closed. So it is not just about where the sites are. The sites that the city has set up are overwhelmingly in communities of color in those 33 communities where the need and the danger is greatest. So the physical reality is the sites are there. The people hired to do the vaccinating come from the communities. That's crucial. The outreach efforts are multiple language. There's door to door. All of that needs more. But let's also be clear that we see real differences between communities demographically, and I'd say possibly the single biggest indicator has been income of who's ready, willing, and able to take the vaccine versus who still is hesitating. That's been true up till recently. I think it's starting to change. But you look at those composite figures, you can't leave that piece out of the equation. All right, with that said, go on to your second question.
Well, I need to follow up what you just said, because I agree completely with it. The data shows it. We've poured over the data. If you have a car, if you've got more income, more mobility, all of those things are true. Yet, I don't think it's fair to these people, these immigrants and these poor people or minority people, to say it's all about distrust and confusion or
Henry, move to your next question, because I did not say confusion. It's people's choices. It's choices, brother. People are making choices, and respect the fact that some people are ready and some are not. And our job is to educate and make the vaccine available, and that's what we're doing. But look, what we 100% agree on is a hell of a lot more to do, and the thing that will help us the most is supply, honestly. So we can create a lot more momentum.
I need to push back in this respect, which is that a lot of these people in the community, when they hear you talk this way, they think that what you're blaming them for not participating, and they're saying, no, there are institutional or structural problems with the delivery of this vaccine and the outreach that's not reaching these people, that it's not just hesitation.
Okay. Henry, in the interest of time, I know you have another question. I have immense respect for the communities we're serving. And this is why we are doing a huge outreach effort in multiple languages, why we're putting the vaccination centers where we are. And people are making their own choices. And we have to keep doing better, and we will. Absolute and total respect. And no, I'm not in the least suggesting there's something wrong with someone who is hesitant. We're going to overcome it, but we need the supply to do it. Go ahead, Henry, ask your second.